Welcome back to episode 99 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. We have a World Series matchup. Finally, after years and years of waiting, you know, it should have happened in 2017. There's probably a couple other years where you can say it should have happened, but finally, we are getting baseball's dream World Series matchup. Dodgers, Yankees, World Series. This is incredible. You know how much shit both of our teams have had to go through to get here? And Kyle and I are the two left standing, God damn it, after all this time. Um, I know how you're feeling, but again, I have to ask you, Kyle, how are you feeling today before we jump into this?
Man, it has been a wild, very, very wild 48 hours for me. Um, Putting baseball aside here for a quick, very, very quick second. Closed on a
Oh, you
house
got a new
today.
mansion.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So closed on a house today, and the one the one week where my life is going to be in shambles, the Yankees decide, hey, it's going to be the year we go to the World Series. So that's got me a little fucked up. But on the better news, yeah, closed on a house today, and Saturday night was nuts. I felt like a little kid all over again. Man, I can't describe that feeling to you. It's obviously something that I've never felt on this level. Um, and obviously, like just this is the matchup we've been waiting for. This is the one that we wanted. I called that, by the way. I'm
Yes, you
gonna
did.
I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. My World Series prediction at the beginning of the year was Yankees Dodgers. We'll get into everything else, but I said it was Yankees Dodgers. I was laughed at by multiple people, but here we are, Melo, you and I, in episode 99. By the way, I'm gonna put that out there. There's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Little bit. Anyways, man, how are you doing? Because I can only imagine you're probably doing as well as I am.
Oh, yeah. Um, Being here with you today, right now, means two things. Number one, the Dodgers clinch the National League pennant. Number two, there was no game seven tonight.
Hmm.
I did not want a game seven today for the obvious reasons. Would have been nice to, work another day and get paid. Yeah, absolutely. But I didn't want a game seven for the obvious reasons. It's bad enough that, and we'll get into everything, but this Mets team that has had so many gimmicks this season with Grimace, with, the OMG song, everything. The last thing that I needed was the Dodgers to blow a 3-1 lead and have to play a do or die game seven against a Mets team that, let's be honest, had no business being there and was playing with complete house money. Did not need that. So for the Dodgers in a bullpen game to go out there and end this NLCS and end the Mets season and send my team to the World Series, I said it to you before we got on here. Satisfying. It's satisfying. And I'm very relieved, you know, because like I said, um, the Dodgers have the last couple of years. The Dodgers have had some bad postseason losses. I don't want to say heartbreaking because they weren't. They were just bad. They're awful. Getting swept by Arizona last year, losing after winning Game One against San Diego in the division series 2 years ago, losing three straight to a team that you were better than all season and was better in both scenarios last 2 years. 20 games better than them. And listen, this was the year, and this was the year for them for them to lose in the first round or second round again, because with all the injuries that have compiled up with this team over the season, so many high expectations for this team. Especially with the money that they invested just on this season alone. There was so many signals that, hey, this team is not ready for the bright lights. They're gonna, choke again like they always do. And I know we haven't won the whole thing, But yesterday, to just pretty much have every Dodger, the performance that I saw from this Dodger team the last 2 weeks, just a giant middle finger to the rest of the National League. You know, it's like, hey, it's Arizona. You got lucky against us last year. Not lucky, but they deserved it. But it was like, hey, you know, last night to beat up on this Mets team the way they did in all the games that they won, to me, it was a giant middle finger to the National League. And I went home yesterday very satisfied for at least 1 year. Now, obviously, I want 4 more wins and I want the ultimate prize. But at least I can say, hey, we were the best team in the National League last year. End of discussion. So to answer your question, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Um, so we'll just again, we're not going to waste any time because there's nothing else to talk about. If you and there's a lot of people that follow us that don't like either the Dodgers or the Yankees. This
Yeah,
is not, yeah, this is not the next these next week and a half. This is not the place to be. It's not. I'm sorry, it's just not. You know, like don't get mad at us when all you see is Dodger Yankee stuff all over the damn page. It's like, well, what else do you want us to post? Sorry, I don't care about what don't I care about? I don't know. I don't care that Carlos Mendoza is going to win National League Manager of the Year. I don't yet. I can care about that in 2 weeks when the season's over. Um, but obviously, we have a World Series matchup. We're gonna both kind of give our perspectives on our series. Um, I don't. You want me to start, or you want to start? It doesn't matter to me.
I'm cool either way. I mean, the Yankees season. I mean, the Yankees clinch first. I mean, I can go first if you want.
Go for it. Yeah.
Um, so I'll start with the American League Championship Series. Um, good job to the Guardians, I guess. Good season. You took advantage
Oh,
of a
okay.
you took advantage of a division that you should have. And you earned your place there. However, you ran into the Yankees. That's what you did. Um, this team, like, okay, so I'm going to take it from the Yankees' perspective here. I don't think the Guardians played as well as they could have. And I think that means two things. Number one, they're just not built for October, considering the fact that they were in a weak division and they matched up with a team that was just better than them. Second, I'm also going to take it a different way. The Yankees are that good. They shut them down. I don't know. It was one of the two. But what I saw of the Yankees in the ALCS, it could have easily been a sweep if it wasn't for John Kenzie Noel hitting that game tying
Big
homer.
Christmas.
Big Christmas. He came out and props to him. He's a damn dude. I feared him every time he came up to the plate. Um,
It's nice that you can laugh about that now because I'm sure in the moment it wasn't that funny.
dude, game 3 when that happened and Judge came off of his big finally Judge coming through, right? And then Stanton back to back with him, dude. I was on an all-time high. I was like, "Oh my god, we're going to go up 3-0." And then Noel came up and we all know what happened after that. It was deflating. I felt I felt like that was a game 7 loss right there. But we bounced back, won the next two, and here we are. We're in the World Series. Um, looking ahead, I like where this team is, and I'm gonna tell you why. This lineup, it seems to be clicking here. We are finally starting to get that the top of the order is figured out. I love what I'm dude. Glaber Torres is locked in under the leadoff spot. You go to Judge, he's coming around a little bit more. Oh, I'm sorry, you go to Soto then. Let's start with him. He's been phenomenal. He's locked in, dude. He lives for these moments. He really does. Um, he is just so locked in and he's so young, dude, but he plays like such a seasoned vet, right? And then you go to Judge in the lineup. He's starting to come around a little bit more, but that's a guy you can't take out of that spot. He will come up for you when you need him to. Um, I expect that out of in the World Series. I really do. I feel like Judge is finally putting this together. He knows what this means. He has seen heartbreak after heartbreak. He was named captain, and he knows what that means. He needs to start locking in a little bit more, and I think he will. Um, Cleanup, Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know what the hell is up with him, man. But the moment October hits, he turns into a different animal, and it's insane to watch. Um, 5 through 9, I Chisholm, he's not coming around as much as I'd like, but you're mixing him and Wells in that lineup there. Um, I think I'd like to see that whole bottom of the order shifted a little bit, especially going to the World Series here. Um, I'd like to see Rizzo get a little bit more at bats, kind of get moved up in the lineup. Volpe has been locked in out of the 7 spot. Verdugo has come up big in a few spots here, especially in the championship series. I love what I see out of this lineup. I think they can go toe to toe with the Dodgers lineup. Pitching staff, I think I think Garrett Cole, what we're seeing out of him is a whole lot better. Rodon, he's been coming around a little bit more. Clark Schmidt, I feel like he's one of those wild cards. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. Um, and then of course, I believe Nestor Cortez is probably going to be ready to go for the World Series. He'll likely be on the roster. We have yet to see Marcus Stroman. I don't know what's up with that. I really don't. You're paying him 18.5 million a year to do what exactly? He was on the championship roster. I don't know why we didn't see him pitch. Um, the one thing I will say to you is I think my biggest concern going into the World Series has to be the bullpen. This bullpen has been taxed. They have been they got to be spent by this point. Boone has been going to them constantly. There's a few guys in there that I'm not too comfortable with. Mark Leiter Jr. He got himself out of a few jams in there, but I'm not confident with him coming to the mound. Tim Mesa, I don't like what I see out of him. Um, the three guys that I can sit here and say that I can rely on out of the bullpen is Jake Cousins, Tim Hill, and Luke Weaver. Other than that, of course, you got Tommy Canley in there too. Um,
Dodgers legend.
but yes, Dodger legend. um, those that's where it worries me a little bit. And when you're going into the World Series against the Dodger lineup like they have, you got to feel good in your bullpen, and I don't. Um, that's where I can see the Yankees being hurt in this series. Overall, though, absolutely love what I saw out of this team. I'm confident in them. I really am, and that's not something I've been able to say a whole lot in the last few years here. Um, I'm confident in this team. I like what I see, and I personally think they can get the job done. But it's going to take an A game out of every single person on this team because this Dodger lineup's no joke. This Dodger team's no joke. They're obviously going to be the best opponent that we face this entire postseason. Um, we took care of business against the teams that we had to get here. People can say what they want. It was Kansas City and Cleveland. You can say what you want out of it, but hey, we deserve to be here. We beat them. We took care of business. So obviously, this Los Angeles team is going to be their biggest test. But I think on if everybody's there showing up to play, I don't see a world where they can't do this. Um, I will say base running needs to be addressed by Boone. Something's got to give, man. I don't want to see another Anthony Rizzo or Jazz
Isn't it too
Chisholm.
late for that though? No.
I don't know. It's got to be tightened up though. This is like I said. You can't make mistakes against a team like the Dodgers. You can't. You have to play at the top of your game every single AB. And that goes for the base pass too. Jazz and Rizzo have been absolutely awful. They've gotten picked off constantly, and this team is just making blunders that are putting themselves in these positions where you can lose these games very easily. Luckily, Cleveland didn't take advantage of all the ones that the Yankees were making, but and the same goes for defense too. I want that tightened up. I don't like what I see out of the defense constantly. Um, you know, Anthony Buckner, come on, you got to make that play, man. that's a that's a that's a play that you could have gotten out of the inning and not given up. I believe it was 2 runs that were given up after that. You know, these are just things where it goes back to the fundamentals of baseball. But the problem is yeah, you can come into Dodger Stadium feeling good and feeling like you can win this fucking series. But when you make these small mistakes like that, that's where it's going to cost you, and that's where you're going to lose games. And those are mistakes that you can't afford to make against the Dodgers. You just can't. Um, but like I said, this is the most confident I've been in a Yankee team since 2017. Um, I love what I see, and I think they can get the job done if everybody plays um, to where we know they can. Judge got to come around more though. Soto, he's locked in. Stanton's locked in. That's where it's got to be taking advantage. There is the top of that lineup, and I think they have a pretty good shot if they can do that.
And there you go. Your American League champion, New York Yankees. Um, Now to the Dodgers side. Like I said, very happy, very um, sigh of relief yesterday. You know, before I get into this series and specifically, let me just you know people love to bash my team, and I understand that it's not perfect. Like every fan base is not perfect, but I know the World Series, like they haven't been able to finish the deal. 2018, 2017, and got cheated out of it. 2020, people don't think it's legitimate for whatever reason. Um, this is their fourth NL pennant in the last 8 seasons. That to me, that's super impressive. And they mentioned that during the post game trophy presentation, and it really made me take a step back and kind of appreciate this a little more. Like, look, it took the Yankees 15 years just to get back to a World Series. And this is a team like us who spend a lot of money and put a lot of money onto the roster every single year. It's not a guarantee that just because you spend a bunch of money, you're going to get to the World Series every year. Um, and for the Dodgers to be in their fourth World Series in 8 years, I hope. Now, listen, I fall under this boat too, because if they lose this World Series again, it's not going to mean shit. It's not going to mean shit that you won 4 pennants in 8 years. But for right now, you gotta appreciate this run that they're on, man. Like, some teams are still waiting to get to a World Series, you know. And the Dodgers, it almost seems like it's an annual occasion. But kind of just, I hope. And again, I don't think baseball fans are gonna appreciate that because they hate us, and that's fine. I'm just talking about Dodger fans, like specifically, like really appreciate what this team has done for us in the last 10, almost 15 years now. Like, this is not, you don't see this in sports all the time. A team this successful getting to the championship round every single time. You don't. Of course, obviously you have to finish the deal. But um going into this championship series and specifically, I just want to, hats off to the New York Mets. You know, like I said, they deserve to be here. They played very well down the stretch. Really, the last 2 months of the season, they played good baseball. Um, Again, I know the Met fan doesn't want to hear this today because they just got eliminated after having almost this dream season to the NLCS. They should be a playoff team next year.
Oh yeah.
Like, they should they have a bright future. Now listen, like I said, I don't know Met fan wants to hear that right now, but you during this season you have been able to find pieces that could work for you long term. You finally got it right. You got the right owner in there with Steve Cohen, who cares about the team, is going to put any amount of money he can into this team to make it better. Um, you got David Stearns, the right guy to head of the team, making the decisions on the field and stuff. You found your right manager,
Yeah, they
Carlos
did.
Mendoza. He seems like a cool guy to root for. Carlos Mendoza, and he's a smart baseball guy. And that's what I learned, you know, following this Mets team throughout the season and into this postseason. They got the right guy leading that helm in Carlos Mendoza. And
We
now,
we miss him over here, I'll tell you that. We really do. That guy was our bench coach for years, man. We trust me. I I know exactly what you mean.
You found probably your future's third baseman in Mark Vientos. Um, I know he kind of in the middle of this series kind of was a no show, but Francisco Alvarez, dude's legit. He's gonna be good. You have your leader in Francisco Lindor. Let's see about Pete Alonso. Um, you have, and like I said, it all comes back to Steve Cohen, where he has this magical run to the NLCS. You don't think he wants to? You don't think he wants to come back in this off season and spend the money to get back there? He's gonna do it.
That worries me.
Yeah, with somebody who wears your pinstripe colors, number 22 there in right field. But this team is gonna be better. And another side note, again, this is a topic for another day, but the NL East is gonna be super scary next season.
It's gonna be a bloodbath, man.
Yes, it is because you have a Phillies team that early playoff exit. They're not going to be satisfied. They want to get better. The Mets had this magical run to the NLCS, and they're going to get better now. And don't forget the Atlanta Braves that were injury hurt. It had the injury bug all season long. You don't think they want to remind baseball that they're one of the best teams in the sport when healthy? So that's going
Let's
to be a bloodbath next year.
let's also not forget that the Washington Nationals
Right.
youngsters are starting to come around, man. They really are. Mackenzie Gore, Keibert Ruiz, these guys are starting to show and turn into stars in this league. Um, yeah, this division is going to be a little nuts.
Right. And I can say this now about Francisco Lindor because the series is over and they won. He scares the shit out of me every time he steps into the batter's box. He does. Every time this series he stepped into the batter's box, I think he's gonna hit a home run. I really believe that. And there's not many baseball players in this league that you can say that about. His presence in the batter's box, and and he does it with a smile. I think that's the thing that freaks me out the most.
Mr.
He's so
Smile.
happy. Yeah, he's so happy on the damn baseball field every day. So when he steps in the box, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna hit a home run. And a couple times he did, but yeah, Francisco Lindor, perfect guy to lead that team. And like I said, this Mets team will be back, and they had deserved to be here. I was telling my family yesterday, if the Dodgers were not involved in this series, and it was Mets against whoever else, I would have rooted for the Mets.
Yeah, they're a team to
This
get behind.
Mets, right? This was a team to really get behind, with all the gimmicks and everything. So, um, but again, the Dodgers were the better team on paper, and they showed it on the field. Super impressive with this offense. Who, like I said, that's been the killing point of our last couple post seasons. The lineup just couldn't produce. They couldn't hit. Their bullpen and their starting pitching was keeping them in games, but they were losing games 5-2, 4-2, 4-1. Because their offense just couldn't show up. And this year, you're seeing contributions from everybody up and down this order. Um, Tommy Edman, crazy NLCS MVP,
That's
and
nuts.
that is an Andrew Friedman um, masterclass job again because we traded for him at the trade deadline, and he hadn't even played a single game yet this season. And I listened to this on the radio, and I didn't know this until like a month and a half ago, when we were coming down the stretch here. The number 2 player that Andrew Friedman wanted the most behind Shohei Ohtani was Tommy Edman. That was the second guy he wanted, and it paid off. He plays elite defense. He plays elite, shortstop and center field. And you saw what he can do offensively. Be a pain in the ass on the base pads. He can drive balls. He can go down and get them, or he can hit them out like he did yesterday. So super happy for him. He deserves it. And, um, you know, the balance in this lineup is great. And that's the thing I feel good about going to this series. It's like, hey, Mookie Betts, I don't need you to hit a home run or do something great every time. Shohei Ohtani, I don't need you. It would be nice, but I don't need you, to get a home run every single time. Like, if you could just get a base hit up the middle, if you could just draw walks, the guys behind you are gonna pick you up. and that's been happening. Max Muncy had a great postseason so far. Teoscar Hernandez played like shit for the first 5 games of the series. He had a couple big knocks yesterday and had a big series against San Diego to help us get to this series. Will Smith, as bad of a season that he's had, and he literally looks lost at the plate, popped one yesterday, and he had a couple hits this series, which gives encouraging sign. And even a guy like Andy Pajes, rookie, fucking hit 2 home runs and bat flipped in front of Francisco Alvarez, and he didn't give a shit. And then Kike Hernandez, the guy who loves October the most. It's crazy. And I thought about this yesterday. This team, and listen, I understand completely that they are by no stretch of the imagination an underdog story, an underdog team, because of the amount of money that they put into this team every season and the success they've had in the postseason. This team literally feels like they're underdogs. That's the vibe I get from this clubhouse. You know, they're a bunch of guys who are upset about people that don't think they can win. That's the vibe I'm getting from this team. How do I know that? Because I literally saw it from Max Muncy throughout the last couple weeks. He was so pissed off that 80% of the people who picked the Padres in the series picked the Padres over the Dodgers. He was upset about that, and he made it very clear um, throughout that series and even after. So a lot of these guys have a chip on their shoulder, and that's a scary thing. That to me, that's a scary thing. A lot of these guys are upset. They're pissed. They want to win. They want it so bad, and that's the thing that makes me feel good about going into the series. But um, for the Mets, the only formula for the Mets to win this series was that they were going to have to slug. They were going to have to slug, and they didn't do that. I think that's the most frustrating thing if you're a Met fan. They left a lot of guys on base this series.
They did.
Dodgers were able to get the big hits, and the Mets couldn't. They got the big hits in one game in Game 5, and they got the big hit from Vientos in Game 2 in a grand slam. That was it. So Dodgers were able to take the Mets' strength away, and they were able to pounce on Sean Manaea early yesterday, which they could not do in Game 2. But this Dodger team was just better, and they took care of business, and they did what they were supposed to do. They didn't play around with their food last night. They didn't if we win tonight, great. If not, well, Game 7 tomorrow, we got Bueller ready to go. Nonsense. You win the game. Don't try. Don't keep your foot on the gas and don't screw around. Dave Roberts managed another hell of a series. Again, this postseason, he saved his job. Really did. He doesn't have a contract for next season, but I think by now he's gonna get re-signed again, maybe for another 1 or 2 year deal. But, again, hats off to this Dodger bullpen. The unsung hero of this postseason is the Dodger bullpen and the Dodgers' fourth starter, TBD. TBD. TBD has been the Dodgers' unsung hero this postseason. They've won 2 bullpen games. They won bullpen game in Game 4 against San Diego, and they won the pennant clinching game last night against the Mets. So, hats off to them. Even a guy like Brett Honeywell, who had to pitch into the 2 losses, but he preserved the dogs, as he said yesterday, for the bullpen game. So shout out to him. But again, this is a team effort. This is a big, big team effort. It's not one guy. It's not one person. It's a group thing. And they all deserve to be crowned NL champs yesterday. And they deserve to be here. So, yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about the Dodgers. The thing that concerns me about going into this World Series, not I praised them, I sucked them off enough. So here, let me give you the concerns that I have. The concern that I have from this team is that the bullpen over the usage of the bullpen. They've been able to get by. They got by against San Diego, and they had their moments against this Mets team where some of them weren't as sharp as I wanted them to be. Um, Evan Phillips was a little shaky in this round. It's crazy. You losing Alex Vesia was a huge loss for this team. They still won the series and they still managed to get through it. But Ryan Brazier didn't have it. Really didn't have it in this series. Um, Michael Kopech was good, but he didn't wasn't really needed in this series because of the blowout wins that they had. And then yesterday, a little too amped up starting the game. Gave up the 4-pitch walk to Lindor. So the thing that concerns me um, about going into this World Series is the bullpen. Because if you do what you did against the Mets for some of these games, give up a hit, walk a couple guys, and all of a sudden you have bases loaded and less than 2 outs, this Yankee team can kill you. Yesterday the Dodgers were up 6-1, and I think the Mets had the bases loaded, and I think they couldn't get any runs across, or they got one run. You do that a Yankee team against this Yankee team, it can easily be 7-6, or it can easily be a tie ball game. So you got to be careful with that. But the thing that I'm most confident about is this offense has shown me that they can piggyback off of each other. They've shown me that they can do that, and I like the fact, which is why I wanted this series. But again, in I wanted the series to end Friday because of the rest they could have had. But again, it wouldn't have mattered because the Yankees won in 5, Dodgers would have won in 5, and the World Series would have started tomorrow instead of Friday. So I like the fact that the Dodgers are going to have they're off obviously until Friday till game 1. So the bullpen guys are going to get a chance to rest. You can set up your rotation perfectly now for this series, and some of the injuries that you have with this team, Gavin Lux, Freddie Freeman, um, you can get them healthier and ready for this series. So I like the fact that you're going to get this bullpen off their feet for a couple of days because they've been used a lot. I don't think they care, and it seems like they relish on the fact that they're being heavily used. But it's not going to be perfect. It's not. These are major league hitters. They're going to figure you out eventually. But hopefully the Yankees don't do that. But yeah, so this should be obviously a great World Series, and it again, it hasn't hit me yet that my team's in the World Series. It really hasn't hit me. I've been so fortunate to see 3 celebrations this postseason. I saw the the NL West division clincher against the San Diego Padres final game of the regular season. I saw the NLDS clincher against the Padres in game 5, and I saw the pennant winning game yesterday against the Mets. I've seen 3 out of the 4 celebrations, and I hope I get one more. But yeah, that's our teams right there. That's your World Series matchup.
It is, and
Jesus, I said a lot.
I guess we'll get right into the predictions here. This is where it gets a little shaky.
Dodgers in 4. No, just kidding.
I'll say this. So I've seen a lot of comments where Dodgers are getting home field advantage in this series. A lot of Yankee fans are pissed. However, I am not. I actually kind of like it. This Yankee team has the best winning percentage on the road in all of baseball this year. And our big hitters hit well at Dodger Stadium.
Yes, they
Every
do.
one of them. Stanton hits well. I think Stanton hits the best out of all of them. And he's already been on a tear. Judge, he hits well there.
You better watch that fence at right
Hey,
field.
listen, he's going to be in center field now. All right.
Oh, that's true, huh? Yeah.
And Soto hits well there. Um, and we got a few guys on our pitching staff who pitches well there. Um, and another thing, before I get in my prediction, I will say what I like about this series and why it's not starting tomorrow and why I like that it's starting on Friday. Both of these teams have an overused bullpen,
Yep.
and they got some guys who are battling a little bit. You can tell
Yeah.
that they're not 100%. For you
Freddie
guys,
Freeman.
you got Freeman, you got Lux, and then of course we talked about the bullpen.
We're 3-0 this postseason when Freddie Freeman doesn't play. Sit your ass down, my friend. We don't need you.
Maybe I am glad that it's starting on Friday.
Yeah.
um, But for me, I think the biggest thing is that we get to see the pitching matchups we want to see.
Yes.
Obviously, Garrett Cole's going game one.
Hi,
Carlos
Hole.
Rodon will go will go game two. And these are big time pitchers. These are two guys that I want going game one and game two. And then hopefully down the stretch, if there's a game six or seven, where I'm gonna be a little hyped to see Garrett Cole warming up in the bullpen. Um,
He's pitching 3 times this series, without
easily,
question.
easily. Um, this is what excites me. Both of these teams get to have a few days here, 4 days, to just relax, sit back, enjoy the fact that their team's in the World Series, and they get to get 100% ready for this series. I think that's a very big thing that a lot of fans are overlooking because we're getting both the Dodgers and the Yankees at 100%. We're not getting, oh, well, the Dodgers just played last night and the Yankees have had 2, 3 days off. No, no, no. Both of these teams are getting equal amount of rest and they're both ready to go. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm excited for. Um, with that being said, obviously, we all know where these predictions are going. At least between you and I.
Yeah.
We come on, we can't
Come on,
bet against
guys.
the team. And for me personally, I said it in before the season started, and I am going to continue with my same exact prediction. I am going New York Yankees are taking home number 28 in 7 games. Let's go. It's been too long for us, Melo. It's been too long. Listen, I was 9 years old, man. 9 years. It's took 15 years and a shit ton of heartbreak to get here. I can't let this be the end of the road. I can't. This needs to be the year. It has to be.
You want to hear my testimony for a second? I
Let's
couldn't
go.
enjoy. I couldn't enjoy 2020. This city couldn't enjoy 2020 because obviously the games weren't here; they were in Texas. This city is literally waiting to erupt. We want a parade down Figueroa. We want a parade down Broadway. Oh, do we need it and we want it? Um, this city has been waiting for a long time for one of these parades. It's been years, and I know this L.A. We get behind our Dodgers. They are freaking ready to erupt if the Dodgers can get these last 4 wins. Like I said, Dodger Stadium might be burned to the ground if they win this series at home. That honestly, like seriously, these people might not go home, including myself. Um, obviously, I'm picking the Dodgers. Like I don't know, what do you want me to say? You know, why would I go against them now? I have it this whole postseason. I've been right. However, um, I need to see this Yankee bottom of the order put it together. I think there's a blueprint here to beat this team. If you can, I don't want to say pitch around guys like Soto and Judge because you can't. Freaking John Carlos going to take you deep and hit a 3-run home run. But if the Dodgers can keep the top of the order in check, and if they could do what they're supposed to do against that bottom of the order, I really like my chances. Um, Listen, I don't want a seventh game. I'm sorry. I know you do, selfish. I know you do because you're unselfish and you're a nice guy, and you want the sport to win. But I don't want to deal with a game seven. I know it would be great for baseball and it would be great for the sport, but um, I'm going Dodgers in six. I am. I really am. This team is playing too good right now. There's too much mojo in that dugout. Um, honestly, I really believe this, and I hate to give them credit. I think they got the monkey off their bat when they beat San Diego. I really think so. I think they could beat anybody now, and I don't think they're going to be afraid of that Yankee team on the other side. They're a worthy opponent without question, and they deserve to be here, absolutely. But I think this is this could be the series where really you see the stars perform. Otani and Judge. I really think this is it right here. But I say Dodgers in six. Shohei Otani closes out the game too. No, I'm just kidding.
Imagine.
That'd be crazy, dude. I'll freaking run on the field. No, I'll say Dodgers in six, and the
Okay.
Dodgers win their eighth World Championship in franchise history.
I don't know, man. 28 sounds just a little bit better than 8.
Eight sounds good.
Either way, man, I think this is going to be a phenomenal series. Um, this is what we
Who's your
blame.
World Series MVPs?
Mm. I think if the Dodgers win, I think it's going to be Otani. I'm not trying to just take like the normal
Yeah,
answer. I think Otani is going, if the Dodgers win, I think Otani is going to really feed in like, hey, this is what I want. I've done everything else. I want the World Series. I think that's the mentality he's going to have. Um, for the Yankees, which is obviously my prediction, I got the Yankees in 7. I think it's Soto.
I agree with that.
I think it's Soto. Um, you have no idea how bad I want to say Judge, just because you know my feelings towards Judge. But I think Soto understands what it's like to play in the World Series. Um, and he's like a seasoned vet, man. He really is. And I truly do think that it's his walk year. He turned down 440. He's hungry, man. And I don't think Soto's scared of anything, anybody. He can work whatever pitcher is out there for the Dodgers, and he's going to prove that.
I agree
Um,
with that.
and for me, I think it's going to be Soto. And then immediately after, he signs a 15-year contract with the New York Yankees.
Not even gonna let him get to free agency
No, he's going to go up to accept his World Series MVP trophy,
and a
and
blank check.
yeah, and then here comes Hal running down the fucking stands with a blank check.
Um, man, there's so many ways I can go with this. For the Yankees, I gotta stay with it. I think Giancarlo. I gotta
Okay.
stay with it because he's an LA native and he grew up going to Dodger Stadium, and again, he hits very well at Dodger Stadium. So I think he's gonna enjoy the fact that he's playing a World Series games at Dodger Stadium, and he's obviously seen the ball really damn well right now.
Yeah.
Um, if you throw a ball up, it's gonna be a ball, and if you throw a ball down in the zone, he's gonna fucking hammer it. So it's like I don't know how to do Giancarlo, but and the thing is with Giancarlo, he can have two ugly swings and be down 0-2, and then he can just crank one out. That's like
Just
he can look
just swing his
horrible.
wrist, man.
Yeah, exactly. And for the Dodgers, and this obviously is my World Series MVP. Um, I really want to say Shohei Ohtani too. I really do.
Chris Taylor.
I know. I was thinking of that. Gavin Lux. Uh, I think it's gonna be Mookie Betts.
Okay.
I
Mookie
think
does
Mookie
have the Yankees
Betts.
well.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of the point I was leaning here. Mookie Betts seems to play very well against the Yankees, and I think he's in a spot right now where he's locked in. And again, he doesn't feel the pressure of having to do something every at bat. Obviously, we need him to continue to produce, but I think he's no longer in his own head like he was 2 weeks ago. And again, he's had some good swings the last couple games. He really has. So I think this is Mookie Betts' World Series MVP. And I think too, listen, I don't think there's any egos with this team, which is why for me they're such a lovable team. But Mookie's a competitive guy. He's a competitive guy. At one point, this was his team. A couple years ago, this was his team. It's clearly not anymore. It's Shohei Ohtani's team. And I think he kind of wants to remind everybody this series that, hey, you know, don't forget about me. I know
I think
Shohei Ohtani's the I know Shohei Ohtani's the big market, the big ticket right now, the marquee thing, but I think Mookie Betts is going to remind everybody by the end of the series that, hey, I'm still top 3, top 5 best player in the world right now, too. And I think he's your World Series MVP.
There it is.
Who steals a base? Steals a taco for America.
Giancarlo.
Okay. Shohei Otani.
No, I'm going Volpe. I'll go Volpe on
I
that
think Shohei goes first pitch. How about that? There's a prediction for you.
one. Oh, okay.
I think he wants that taco for everybody. I think if he gets on base, he's gonna go first pitch. Hopefully, Garrett Cole throws a breaking ball, not a fastball, because he might get thrown out. But
And hopefully
yeah,
Wells starting that game, not
yeah,
Trevino.
not Chevy.
My God.
Yeah, yeah, and there you go. Those are our World Series predictions. That's really our World Series preview too. A
Yeah.
little bit of everything and recap. But I think that's gonna do it for episode 99.
What a year for Around the Diamond.
Yes, what a year.
That- What a fucking year.
Yeah,
Man, who would have
I think
thought?
at the I know. I think at the beginning of the year, if we would have said that, hey, Dodgers and Yankees in World Series, we would have both signed up for that immediately.
100%.
You don't know how you're gonna get there, but you're gonna be there at the end.
I agree. I would have
I think we
immediately.
both would have taken it.
Yeah. This is something that I think we've been waiting for, man. We've talked about this, I mean, ever since I've known you, man. Like,
Yeah.
2017 should have been it. That should
Yep.
have been the year that it was Yankees Dodgers and we never got it. Um, I thought maybe 2019 could have been a year.
2019 was another year. Should have happened.
Yeah, and we just haven't gotten it. It's been way too long for these two franchises. Uh, two two most hated franchises in baseball. If you're not a fan of them, you hate them. That's what it comes down to. But I feel like Yankees and Dodger fans respect each other. We're kind of in that same boat. Um, yeah, it's dude. I'm excited because I think not only because my team's in it, but I think this stage, I think we're gonna see those top six guys: Stanton, Judge, Soto, and then Otani, Freeman, Betts. I think those six guys are absolutely gonna have phenomenal series. And let's not forget about these pitchers, man. You
Yeah.
know, Yamamoto, Cole, Rodon, Bueller. I think all these guys, Flaherty. I think all of these guys are gonna have big series. I think all around we're gonna be we're in for a treat here. I really do.
I agree. And if you're a fan that's not gonna watch it because you hate both teams, you're full of shit. First of all, let me start there. Don't give me this crap that it's not good for the sport. You mean to tell me Arizona, Texas was good last year? I was sitting here a year ago telling everybody, do not listen to Rob Manfred try to explain to you and tell you that Texas Diamondbacks, Rangers Diamondbacks is good for the sport.
No.
It's not. It's not. I'm sorry. This is good for the sport. This is what it needs. There's going to be people who are not baseball fans that are going to watch this series
Oh yeah.
because it's New
Just because.
York, it's Los Angeles.
Yep. Yeah, just because of the teams involved. I mean, these two teams aren't just fucking sports franchises.
No,
They're
they're
global brands,
brands.
both of them. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I think I really do think we're in for it. I think mentally we're both in for it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
It's going to be a lot of back and forth. I think it's going to be a lot of big moments. It's going to be a lot of highs, a lot of lows for both of us. I truly do believe that. I think these games are never. I don't think we're going to see a game where it's 10-2 final.
no,
I think we're going to be seeing 5-3, 4-2, 6-5. Maybe if these offenses go off 9-8, 9-7. I think those are the type of scores we're going to see. I'm going to make a prediction right now.
okay,
Every single one of these World Series games don't end in more than 2 runs.
okay. I like that.
I think I feel confident in that. I really do. I think both of these teams have the firepower for it. I really do. And it's just going to be a lot of back and forth, man. I think this is going to be electric baseball. I think this is going to be some of the best baseball I've ever watched in my life. I really do.
How about these managers too? They both of these franchises wanted their managers gone for years, and now they're both in the World Series managing each other.
And I can guarantee you that both of these managers are back with their franchises next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
can guarantee you. Boone
Yep.
ain't going anywhere. I'll tell you that.
No.
I'll tell you that for free.
Oh yeah. Dave Roberts ain't going anywhere now either.
No, nope. Both of them earned extensions, or their teams earned them extensions.
Yeah. I think that's going to do it for episode 99.
I think so. 99. I keep going back to that.
I don't like that. Manny Ramirez wore 99 with the Dodgers.
Uh,
See.
there we go. That's
Hung
funny.
Jin Ryu, Dodgers legend.
Oh man.
All right. We'll see you next week before game 3.
Yep.
I think selfishly we both hope our teams are up 2-0.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
if we both want to meet in the middle, I guess 1-1. But
I'd be okay with 1-1.
I get because you don't have home field. I want 2-0. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Episode 100 next week.
How about it?
We got to figure out something to do. Yeah. You'll be in your mansion, sitting in the hot tub.
Yeah, I mean, you guys might see a fuck ton of boxes behind me. I'll tell you that because I can guarantee you that none
Fragile.
of anything, nothing is going to be set up. I can get my quote unquote normal recording area is not going to be normal. I can guarantee it's probably going to be either from a couch or from the kitchen island. It's going to be somewhere like that because I can guarantee you it's not going to be
toilet.
Pretty. And hey, we never know. It could be a bombshell in that fucking living room. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be exciting. I'll tell you that.
It's gonna be special. A week from today, episode 100, our teams are in the World Series.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
This was we mentioned this.
Yes.
I think it was around the All-Star break. I think you had said, imagine we had episode 100 and both of our teams were in the World Series. And here we are.
Don't have to imagine it anymore. It's real. It's happening.
This is Yankees Dodgers. Here we go. This is get your fucking popcorn.
Yes.
Extra butter, please.
Yes.
And
some M&Ms in there too.
Maybe it'll pair well with your cracking sunflower seeds.
You're
smacking sunflower seeds. You can use code ATD. Or SeatGeek. Hey, if you're rich enough,
if you're one of those crazy bastards that are gonna spend $1,000 on these games,
use code
ATD to get $20 off. So instead of it being $1,200, it's $1,290. There you go.
And guess what? You could put that $20 towards a chicken bucket at Yankee Stadium.
There you go. Is it going to be $20 though? I don't think so anymore now.
They might jack that shit up.
Parking at Dodger Stadium for the NLCS was $60 general. I think we're going to hit 100 for this series.
That's crazy.
People will pay it.
Oh yeah.
People will pay it.
I can guarantee you I probably could have gone to all 7 World Series games if I didn't buy this house. So, priorities here, right?
That's true.
Yes.
Could have sat right behind the dugout.
It could have came close.
For one of those games. For one of those games, you could have sat right behind the Yankee dugout.
That's true. What? You're growing up now.
There you go. I don't think the missus would be in favor of that either.
No, I probably would have got my ass kicked. So, but hey, I would have been having my ass kicked at Yankee Stadium watching the Yankees in the World Series.
We'll see you next week for episode 100. Adios.